Right now at 5, recent number crunching reveals an unexpected debt for Fort Scott Community College.
And we've got another breezy day out there, and we could see some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We'll talk about that in the forecast coming up.
Plus, McDonald County High School students prepare to perform a play written by one of their own.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is now finally Friday in the 4 states.
Yes,
we
it is.
Made it.
Just barely.
Just barely made it. But we've still got, it's just the beginning of Friday. We still got to get through Friday.
Well, yeah, but it's Super Bowl weekend.
It is Super Bowl weekend. So I wonder how many folks out there have a long weekend planned. You're probably working today, but you're probably off Monday, and I would be willing to bet.
I'm thinking a lot of people are taking Monday off, which they actually might want to, based on some of your predictions for the weather.
With the possibility of some wintry stuff come Monday morning, yeah, it may not be a bad idea just to take the day off anyway, and even if you don't, you may end up getting the day off because we're looking at a little bit of snow at least. We'll talk about all that a little later. First, let's look outside. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Still breezy out there, and it's going to remain that way as we head into the weekend. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, looking pretty good so far. I'm not sure whose sign that is. I think I know, but boy, it is really bright on that camera. Can't tell what it says, but it's extraordinarily bright. Temperatures around the region, we are a bit cooler than where we were 24 hours ago. We're about 12 degrees cooler than where we were. We're still above average, but see, we got a lot more low to mid 40s on the Kansas side. We got some mid to upper 40s on the Missouri and Oklahoma side. Kids getting on the bus, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies, breezy, south wind 10 to 15, gusting upwards of 20. We should be back to the upper 40s, and when that bus brings them home today, back to the mid 60s again, mostly cloudy, breezy, southwest breeze gusting upwards of 30. And as mentioned, we could see a stray pop-up storm or two. We're not anticipating any severe weather, anything like that, but a couple of pop-up storms will be possible. I think overall most of us will remain dry, but don't be surprised if we get caught under a rain shower out there. Otherwise, again, we're relatively warm as temperatures go right back into the mid to upper 60s, pushing close to 70 again today. However, this is the last really warm day we have for the next few days. It's going to start to cool down a bit. We'll take a look at that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A Neosho, Missouri man dies in a motorcycle crash. It happened late yesterday afternoon on Highway 86, just south of Reddings Mill, Missouri. Authorities say 69-year-old Jay Gardner of Neosho was riding his motorcycle on the S-curves just north of the original Candy House location. The cycle struck a sign and utility pole, and Gardner died at the scene. And after calculating expenditures from their previous fiscal year, Fort Scott Community College administration realized that the college was $1 million in debt. The president, Jason Kegler, says college officials discovered the issue in December. He blames credit card spending and not sticking to the purchasing approval policy caused the problem. To combat the deficit, a freeze on spending and hiring is in place.
We've pulled back the ability for people to use college credit cards because and we've asked them to start actually utilizing the PO system, and so we're confident. There was some concerns early on about how that would look, but I think all of our employees, our faculty and staff, they've adjusted.
President Kegler says there's no suspicion of criminal wrongdoing. Fort Scott Community College plans to hold a community discussion on February 21st about the deficit and how they're going to overcome it. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly yesterday signed into law a bipartisan bill giving a tax break to some businesses that employ Kansans with disabilities. Under the new law, the Disability Employment Act expands an income tax credit for goods and services purchased from qualified businesses that employ disabled workers and pay those workers at least the minimum wage. Businesses that pay Kansas with disabilities less than minimum wage are not eligible for the Disability Employment Act tax credit. And a Joplin area organization is looking to give away some money and is asking for suggestions on who should get it. The Joplin Regional Community Foundation is inviting residents of Joplin, Webb City, and Carl Junction to submit nominations for its second annual Philanthropic Achievement Award. The award recognizes outstanding and sustained charitable achievement by an individual, organization, or business to benefit any of the three communities. The winner of the award will receive a $2,500 donation to go to the charity of their choice. Nominations are due by 5 p.m. March 1st. You can find more information at KOAMnewsnow.com. And McDonald County High School students are bringing a fellow student's script to life. KOAM's Anthony Saviallo sat down with the young playwright and gives us a look into the world she created.
Okay. Princess Eleanor was walking
The
through
world of
forest
theater allows artists to bring different ideas and worlds to life.
I actually wrote the show in one night, spontaneously. After dinner with my parents, I was like, oh, I would love to write a story about an author with writer's block, because that's where I was, and I was like, that's a perfect way to get on a writer's block.
For playwright Rebecca Lilly, the words she once wrote down when she was 16 will now be put on the stage by her fellow students.
The creative process and everything, it was wonderful seeing the show being put together. And it's just a wonderful opportunity that this department gets to put this on. It's really an honor.
For main character Alana Frisbee, there's a lot of pressure to make sure her friend's show is portrayed in the perfect way.
She's happy one moment, stressed the next, almost angry the next minute. That's probably one of the hardest challenges too. Also, getting the lines down. The lines are so wordy.
However, it's nothing but praise and support for Rebecca and her show.
Rebecca always follows through with whatever she's going to do, and she does it excellently well. And I knew that that would be the case once we got into this. I'm just glad we found a place during the year to put the play so that, you know, it worked beautifully with everything else that we were doing.
It's just her energy. Her energy, it's so like flamboyant, and she just has a beautiful soul, and she knows a lot. She's very knowledgeable.
But Rebecca credits her friends for helping her get to where she is.
I mean, Alana, my main character, and Melanie, my princess, they have been so they've been so supportive and so excited all year to do it. So they're great. I love those girls, they're amazing.
Reporting in McDonald County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Students will perform the show tomorrow at McDonald County High School. For $10, you can see the show and have dinner. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Missouri Southern basketball back in Joplin last night to face against Lincoln. We'll have the details. Plus, a volcano in Iceland erupts, pouring out lava and causing evacuations. And we are tracking storm chances for tonight. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
For the Kansas City Chiefs,
Kansas, and Joplin and Butler, Missouri.
The NBA trade deadline is officially in the past, and OKC makes a big move right beforehand. According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, the Thunder are finalizing a trade to bring in Gordon Hayward from the Hornets. He's averaging more than 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. However, Hayward hasn't played since the day after Christmas because of a left calf issue. The Thunder are trading away guards Trey Mann, Vasilije Matić, and forward Davis Bertans. Hayward turns 34 next month, and he's in the last year of his deal, which pays him $31.5 million this year. A little bit of a break before our next Thunder Friday night. That's 2 weeks from today when the Wizards visit Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. Missouri Southern basketball back in Joplin last night. The Lady Lions haven't lost a home game all season and are riding a 14-game winning streak into yesterday evening. The men's team hoping to bounce back from a loss. Missouri Southern comes into this game riding that 14-game winning streak. In the first quarter, Caitlin Honeycutt is going to get nothing but net on the three-point shot. Still in the first. Get a nice pass from Chrislyn Jones to Maggie Saki, who finishes the layup to extend the Lions' lead by 4. Over to the second quarter, Jones throws it across the court, and Caitlin Honeycutt fires away again from long range and nails it. Southern takes a 21-point lead into the half. In the second half, Honeycutt and Jones on the fast break, and nice passing leads to an easy basket. And then it's Honeycutt who beats the buzzer with a three-pointer to end the third quarter. Birthday girl Caitlin Honeycutt finished the game with 20 points. Lions win 76-57, win number 15 in a row for Missouri Southern.
That first half, I thought our defense was really good, got us out to that lead. Started a little bit in the second half, but overall our defensive performance again was pretty solid. And then offensively, we did some positive things. But our kids have been doing a great job of understanding the scout, understanding personnel, and trying to take things away that they try to do well.
Over to the men's side, Missouri Southern entering the night winning 2 of the last 3 games. First point of the game, Darius Dawson. Going to post up and get the lucky bounce to go in for 2 points. Next possession, it's Dawson again. He's going to fight hard inside the paint and is able to pick up 2 more points. Still in the first, Avery Taggart is open and scores the 3-point shot. The Lions open this game on a 10-0 run. Later in the half, it's Vincent Sigmund who's going to knock down the mid-range jump shot. Few possessions later, Sigmund comes flying into the lane to finish the layup. Missouri Southern goes on to win this game 83-77. Well, still to come, we'll see why improving the mental health of teenagers may result in less substance use among youth. Plus, we'll take another look at that mixed-up forecast we've got over the next few days when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Is there going to be another attack? I'm trying to find the guy who tried to kill my team. This hack could be one guy in a laptop. The Wheel of Fortune.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 now on this finally Friday here in the 4 states. It's a little bit cooler outside and still breezy out there. Our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin showing those flags on City Hall, still blowing in the breeze. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking back to the south along range line, looking pretty good this morning. We're going to continue to deal with gusty winds as we go through today. Thankfully, not nearly as breezy as what we saw yesterday, and some of us are going to be just outside the realm of some of those really gusty winds as well. We head through the evening. We're actually going to see some momentary pauses before winds will start gusting again for us on our Saturday. And we'll hold on to these off again, on again gusty winds all the way into our Sunday across the area. As for today, are going to be mostly cloudy. We're still going to be warm, most of us going back into the upper 60s, and we could see a stray pop-up storm or shower. It's not showing up on the future track because this is expected to be a relatively isolated situation, but it is possible we could see a couple of showers or thunderstorms out there today. Again, want to emphasize no severe weather or anything like that, just maybe a rumble of thunder here or there. It is 50 in Joplin right now, south breeze at about 14 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region, again, a little further out west, we're colder. And we are colder across the region than we were yesterday by about 10-15 degrees. Low 40s across parts of southeastern Kansas, and as you head south and east, temperatures get into the mid to upper 40s. As we go through the morning, again, mostly cloudy skies. Winds will pick up again. We'll be about 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. As we head into the afternoon, we're looking at highs right around 70. We put up the thunderstorm icon. Again, a couple of pop-up storms will be possible. We're otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy. Mostly cloudy through the evening. Now, initially, we're mild, and then we get a weak little wave that comes through and pushes our temperatures back down into the upper 30s. So again, we're still above average, but we're a lot colder than where we have been. Then we need to talk about what's going on Sunday into Monday. Sunday, by late day, we could see a few stray showers out there, and then overnight, as temperatures fall back a bit, there's an opportunity for a transition to a wintry mix and perhaps some light snow. Now, it will be brief, and by the time we get into Monday evening, temperatures warm up, any remaining precipitation turns to rain, but right along and immediately south of I-44 in this zone right about here, we could actually see some heavy snow. Now, we're still a few days out, obviously, from this. I know it's still only 2 or 3 days, but that's still with winter weather far enough that it's too early to say what we could see. And bear in mind, with these temperatures and what we're expecting for Monday and then the rest of the week, whatever we get would not last long. We got to watch out for some slick spots as we head into Monday morning across the area, especially along and south of I-44. All right. For tomorrow, cooler, but again, still above average, low 50s. We got some shower chances in the evening Sunday, much cooler, low 40s, and we fall back. That should not say 43, but that's all right. I'll take care of that later. Then we've got about 40 degrees on Monday. Then we're going to turn around, warm right back up as we go back into the 60s toward the middle of next week. So again, whatever happens Monday will not be around for a very long time. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Dinosaur World Live is coming. Proceeds go to the animals at Southeast Kansas Humane Society. See you before the big game Sunday, February 11th.
Topping Health Watch this morning, improving the mental health of teenagers may result in less substance use among youth. That's according to a new study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Researchers there say more than 70% of teens say they turn to drinking or drugs to feel more relaxed. Other reasons given include coping with stress and dealing with depression. The CDC says if the teens have less anxiety, they might be less motivated to get intoxicated. The findings were based on nearly 10,000 teens from 2014 through 2022. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy says youth mental health is a top priority. In 2021, he wrote that young people have faced numerous unprecedented challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic, which increased stress levels. And Congress is calling on the Federal Aviation Administration to change how it addresses mental health for pilots. In a letter to the FAA, a bipartisan group of 45 members said it must, quote, reduce the stigma around the issue. This comes on the heels of an incident in October when an off-duty Alaska Airlines pilot had an in-flight breakdown. Pilots who currently say they have some sort of mental problem during mandatory physicals could lose their ability to fly. On Tuesday, FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker testified before the House Aviation Subcommittee that it's time for the department to update its approach to mental health. And there may be more American children who suffered from long COVID than previously thought, according to one new study. According to the Journal on Pediatrics, 10 to 20% of kids in the U.S. who were diagnosed with COVID developed long COVID. The CDC puts the prevalence of long COVID in children closer to just 1%. The co-author of the paper acknowledged there are, quote, lots of caveats with the prevalence estimates used to get their number. For example, some of the studies included looking only at the very small percentage of children who were hospitalized for COVID. Those children had more severe cases of the infection and therefore more risk of lingering symptoms or new complications. In some cases, COVID infection can lead to neurological, gastrointestinal, cardiovascular, and behavioral symptoms. But fatigue, brain fog, and headaches are among the most frequently reported symptoms of long COVID in children. And 3 CEOs represent Big Pharma are in the hot seat over higher drug prices. Thursday on Capitol Hill, the heads of Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Bristol-Myers Squibb defended their reasons on why Americans pay more for prescriptions than just about every other country on the planet. Laura Ugary has more on Thursday's hearing, which got off to a contentious start.
How could drug companies charge us, in some cases, 10 times more than they charge Canadians or people around the world for the same drug? How do they get away with this?
That set the tone for Thursday's Senate committee hearing with CEOs from 3 of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies.
Our first responsibility is to the patients.
We're eager to find solutions to these access and affordability challenges.
Several lawmakers questioned just how eager, pointing to examples like Johnson & Johnson's arthritis drug Stelara. In Canada, the UK, Japan, and France, the list price for a 1-year supply is $20,000 or less. In the U.S., same drug, $79,000 a year.
I agree with you that the prices in the U.S. Are generally higher for medicines.
Eliquis by Bristol-Myers Squibb, a leading blood thinner that reduces the risk of stroke, is priced at $7,100 a year in the U.S. In several other countries, it's less than $1,000.
The real difference is that in the U.S., patients get access to therapy, life-saving therapy, years before they do in the countries that you mentioned.
We have priced Eliquis in the U.S., in our estimation, consistent with the value it brings.
These drugs and many others are currently on a list of prices Medicare and drug makers will be negotiating under the Inflation Reduction Act. But one thing was clear at the hearing. The pricing debate will continue on. And for now, many Americans will struggle to afford the medicine they need. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Senator Sanders pointed out past successes between Senate committee members and other drug makers, telling the panel Thursday that it was during a previous health committee hearing the CEO of Moderna committed to making sure no one in America would have to pay for their COVID-19 vaccine out of pocket. And he added, last May, Eli Lilly CEO vowed to not raise prices on existing insulin products. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another warm and breezy day out there with at least an opportunity or two for a pop-up storm or shower. We'll take another look at that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Now move-in ready. Head to our website to find out how you can save thousands on your new home at Creekside in Carthage.
Right now at 5:30, Girard High School yesterday held their annual Trojan Entrepreneurial Challenge.
And we've got ourselves a mostly cloudy day, warm, breezy, and maybe a pop-up shower or storm. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, area high school and college students take their welding skills to a competition in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5:30 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is finally Friday, just a couple more days till the Super Bowl.
Right?
I think it's going to be a great one. And it's just Friday. I mean, that's reason to celebrate as is. We finally made it.
I know, it's going to be an exciting weekend. I know the whole city's buzzing with Super Bowl
absolutely.
excitement.
It's going to be a thrilling weekend for sure. Lots of folks will be talking about that Monday morning. The other thing you might be talking about Monday morning, especially depending on where you are, is maybe some snow. And I know it's so crazy, but again, we talk about this all the time too. Those of you like me who have lived here forever, you know that this isn't impossible. This isn't unusual. It just always seems bizarre. And anybody that's new is like, it's going to be 70 degrees. How are we going to have snow in a couple of days? Well, it's the Midwest. Welcome to it, and it will change in a moment's notice to whatever it feels like. Right now, though, looking pretty good. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. Temperatures around the region, we are cooler by about 10, 15 degrees compared to yesterday for some of us, but we're still above normal because bear in mind we should be in the 20s this time of year. We've got low 40s out across parts of southeastern Kansas, and as you head south and east, we get into the upper 40s and even some locations pushing about 50 degrees. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies, breezy, south winds gusting to 20, and most of us will be in the upper 40s, but as you saw, we do have a bit of a spread on temperatures. And as we head into the afternoon, we're talking right around 66 when the bus brings them home, and that southwest breeze gusting up to 30. Gusty winds are going to be a thing again today, but thankfully not into that 40 or 50 mile an hour range like we saw yesterday, but still pushing about 30, 35 in some cases. Mostly cloudy, a pop-up storm or two will be possible. Most of us, I think, will be dry, but don't be surprised if you hear a rumble of thunder here or there. Not anticipating, of course, any severe weather. As we mentioned, though, there's some snow on the way. We'll talk about all of that in the complete forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Humane societies and veterinarian clinics would like to remind those with pets to be sure to have them spayed or neutered. Pets that go unspayed or neutered are more than likely to contribute to overpopulation and homelessness. According to the ASPCA website, nearly 6.3 million animals find themselves in animal shelters across the country. About 810,000 of those animals go to the shelter as strays. By spraying and neutering your pet, you are helping control the amount of animals entering shelters.
The Humane Society offers low-cost spay-neuter clinics to the public 3 times a week. The cost there for cats is $35 and $50 for dogs. On the dogs, it doesn't matter the size, just that they're $50. To make your appointment, it's really easy. You just visit us at joplinhumane.org and click on the link, and you set your appointment and everything right then and there.
You may think that you are hurting your pet when you spay or neuter, but remember that your pet will enjoy a healthier life. They are less likely to contract fatal diseases and less likely to act violently. Girard High School yesterday held their annual Trojan Entrepreneurial Challenge. It featured pitches for 11 business ideas. Yesterday, students were able to present their pitches much like contestants do on the show Shark Tank for the judges, who consisted of community business people. While there were cash prizes on the line, student competitors also gained something that might be more valuable.
They take away the experience, a little bit more confidence, and willing to take on a challenge They had a small idea. They had to create an executive summary to explain that idea, figure out how they were going to market it, figured out the right pricing for it.
The day culminated with a trade show in the GHS Shireman Auditorium and a short award ceremony in front of the student body. And area high school and college students got to take part in the Skills USA District Welding Competition at the Joplin Advanced Training and Technology Center. For the student welders, the competition featured an element of the unknown.
They're not going to know what it's like at that very first weld test. They're going to walk in unaware of what they're about to step into, and that's okay. And that you have to do your best with it, and that those welds that you're practicing currently in school matter.
Students placing first and second place will advance to the state competition in April. Spirit Week in celebration of the Chiefs' trip to the Super Bowl continued yesterday at Rise Elementary in Neosho, Missouri with Travis Throwback Thursday. Kids could dress in the number 87 in honor of Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce or dress in fashion from the year 1987. Staff at the elementary say that the excitement was infectious.
I love it. I love seeing them come in. We've done so many different days, and there's a few of them that they dress up every single time, and you just can't wait to see them come in and see what they come up with that day.
No, but go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs!
Chiefs Spirit Week continues today with Chiefs Fry-Yay at Galena Elementary. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. At least 7 people are dead and dozens others are missing after a landslide in the southern Philippines. Plus, new information on a U.S. operation which killed a high-ranking Iranian-backed terror leader. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Associates, proud partner of Travis Kelce and his foundation, 87 and running.
Topping World Watch, El Salvador's presidential election is on Sunday, and Nayib Bukele is expected to easily win another term, in part due to his crackdown on gang activity. But critics say that crackdown comes at the price of civil rights. Stefano Pazaban has more.
Es horrible. Jacqueline Zelaya breaks down in tears when she talks about her niece, Jocelyn, who was just 20 years old when she was murdered in the streets of San Salvador.
Fue duro ir a traerla así al hospital. Así como una vez la vi pequeñita, así una vez me despedí de ella.
The pain still fresh, 7 years after she was killed. Back then, El Salvador was close to being a failed state. With the highest murder rate in the world, it was gangs like the infamous Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13, who set the rules. To this day, Zanaya doesn't know who killed Jocelyn. She is sure, however, on who turned the tide on crime. Nayib Bukele became president in 2019 and quickly tied his name to a security crackdown that sent tens of thousands to jail and effectively taking the gangs off the street. A state of emergency was declared in 2022, granting the government exceptional powers to deploy the army and allowing the police to detain any citizen without charge for up to 15 days, besides curtailing civil rights such as due process. The government claims El Salvador is finally safe, and Bukele is cruising to re-election this Sunday. But his critics, such as Human Rights Watch, accuse him of mass, indiscriminate detentions and even torture. At CNN, we spoke with a woman who was arrested on November 11, 2022. The police claimed that she was part of a gang. She denies the crime and says that she never saw a judge. 6 months later, she was found not guilty and was released, but she says that she was put through inhumane conditions inside the prison. We're hiding her identity for security reasons.
No había un día que en mi comida y en la comida de todas no fuera una cuca, una mosca, un pelo, y uno tenía que comerse esa comida porque no teníamos de otra.
The government admits that thousands of innocent people may have been imprisoned by mistake, but doubles down on the crackdown and points to the deaths of policemen in the line of service as a reason to carry on. Neither Human Rights Watch nor other shameless NGOs will say anything about the lives of our heroes or their families who are now hopeless without them, leaving the door wide open on the tight line between security and individual freedoms. Stefano Pozzebon, CNN, Bogotá.
A volcano in Iceland erupts, pouring out lava and causing evacuations. It's the third time the Sýrlingar volcano has erupted since last December. Iceland typically experiences an average of one eruption every 3 to 4 years. This latest eruption causing one of the country's most well-known tourist attractions, the Blue Lagoon Spa, to evacuate. Officials say no one was in the nearby town during the eruption, but the area might not be livable in the near future. And at least 7 people are dead and dozens other are missing after a landslide in the southern Philippines. The landslide occurred Tuesday in the mountain village of Marsarar in the Davao de Ora province. Rescuers were able to reach more than 30 people on Wednesday before the search had to be suspended due to fear of more landslides. Among those still missing are more than 24 miners who had been waiting for buses home. Disaster response officials say more than 700 families have been moved to evacuation centers. They add that torrential rains have swamped the region in recent weeks, and earthquakes in recent months have damaged buildings in the southeastern part of the country. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is replacing the country's top army general. The commander-in-chief of Ukraine's troops, Valery Zaluzhnyi, is widely popular among Ukrainians. Now, after 2 years as head of Ukraine Armed Force, he will be replaced by Colonel General Oleksandr Syrsky. Zelensky says, quote, a different approach is needed, but the change in roles could bring uncertainty as the Russia-Ukraine war enters its 3rd year. Military experts say there's potential it could cause tensions between Ukraine's army and officials in government. And new information on U.S. operation which killed a high-ranking Iranian-backed terror leader involved in an attack while killed 3 American service members in Jordan. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin has the details from the Pentagon.
Angry crowds gather in Baghdad at the funeral for the leader of Kateb Hezbollah, Abu Bakr al-Saidi. An American MQ-9 Reaper drone waited patiently and took its shot after tracking the Kateb Hezbollah leader for days. President Biden authorized the strike shortly after the deadly drone attack on Tower 22 in Jordan.
Bassam Mohammed Sabir al-Saidi was a Kateb Hezbollah commander who was responsible for directly planning and participating in attacks on U.S. forces in the region.
A crowd that gathered in the aftermath, some of whom made their way toward the U.S. Embassy, chanted, Allah is the greatest, America is the greatest devil. Kateb Hezbollah is an Iraqi Shia militia that is part of the popular mobilization forces that formed to fight ISIS, with funding from Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps commander General Qasem Soleimani, before he and another head of Kateb Hezbollah was killed in a U.S. drone strike in 2020. Kateb Hezbollah was later brought under the Iraqi military, who pay their salaries. Some worry the U.S. drone strike could jeopardize talks between the U.S. and Iraqi governments about whether U.S. troops can stay in Iraq.
The martyr is one of the leaders of the Holy Popular Mobilization Forces and is considered an element of the Iraqi state.
Look, if there were no attacks on our troops, who are there at the invitation of the Iraqi government, there would be no need for retaliatory strikes.
There have been no attacks on U.S. bases inside Iraq since the U.S. began its military response to the attack that killed 3 Americans. This targeted killing could change that.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
From the moment you call until you
quality, compassionate.
Quality, compassionate, affordable care.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:47 on this Friday morning here in the 4 states. Finally Friday, another warm, windy day out there and already breezy this morning. And we could even see a pop-up shower or storm today, but I think most of us remain dry. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex. This is the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking back to the south, looking pretty good so far. We're going to deal once again with the gusty winds, but the good news is, A, they're not as widespread, and B, they're not nearly as intense as they were yesterday, but still some of us into that 30, maybe 35 mile mile-an-hour range. We'll see a brief pause in the gusty winds before they return by sunrise tomorrow across the area, and then they won't be as bad as we go through Saturday. Still a bit breezy, and then they're going to pick up again as we head into our Sunday, returning back to that 20-30 mile-an-hour range once again across the area. Now, as we go through today, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies. We got a bit of a spread on temperatures, though. Out to the west, a little cooler, and you head further south and east, a little warmer as we get close to 70. Most of us will be close to 70, if not into the upper 60s. Then we go into tonight, and we get a system that passes through, and it's going to drop our temperatures. We're still above average, but it's going to be cooler than what we've been used to the last few nights, and we could again see a pop-up shower or storm throughout the day today and into the evening hours, although we're not anticipating anything widespread, and of course not expecting anything severe out there either. 50 in Joplin right now, south breeze at 14. Temperatures around the region, we've got out to the north and to the west, we're into the low 40s, and as you head a little further to the south and to the east, we're a little bit warmer, and you may have noticed that these arrows are not moving. You may have also noticed that these temperatures haven't changed. We did get a message that there's some disruptions in updating current conditions, so there's that possibility that maybe that's what's going on here. However, I'm sure they'll fix it. In the meantime, here's what we're expecting for today. We're going to go about 60 by 11 o'clock this morning, mostly cloudy, breezy. As we end the afternoon and evening, that's when our opportunity for, again, a pop-up shower or storm will occur. On average, we're looking to make about 70 degrees. A lot of us, though, mid-upper 60s out there under those mostly cloudy skies. Breezy through the evening and overnight, and initially mild, and then that weak little wave rolls through, and we go back a little bit colder into the upper 30s. But again, that is still well above normal, as we should be in the 20s. Saturday, we're expecting to be mostly cloudy, cooler across the area thanks to that wave that's going to pass through. And then by Sunday evening, we're going to see a few stray showers out there, and then we could see a transition briefly to a wintry mix and perhaps some light, maybe even moderate snowfall, primarily along and south of I-44, concentrated right about here, where we could pick up a little bit of snow. Now, the good news is it's going to warm back up Monday and then through the rest of the week, so it won't last long, but do be prepared for some slick spots Monday morning, especially along and south of I-44, where we could see a dusting, maybe a couple of inches out there. Again, low 40s Sunday, so back to normal. Same on Monday, back to normal. And then we turn around and warm right back up, heading into the middle of next week, back into the 60s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
You're watching KOAM.
It is now open for funds from Hero Fund USA. Visit KOAMnewsnow.com/HeroFund for the application and guidelines.
The big game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers will be extra super for one teenager from Nevada. Special Olympics Nevada's Brandon Turcato is this year's NFL Play 60 Super Kid. Victoria Sava reports.
16-year-old Brandon Turcato loves to stay active.
How long do you spend on treadmills? Do you walk?
And run.
He stays busy by playing flag football for Special Olympics.
What got me interested because I wanted to play flag football so I can teach the world that every sport is amazing and people and kids should play Special Olympics sports.
Being a huge fan of all things sports, Brandon found out he was picked by the NFL to be this year's NFL Play 60 Super Kid.
Trying to win is very challenging because you have to go against teams that are that are always winners too.
Brandon will get to participate in various events leading up to the Super Bowl and to be recognized during the second half of the game.
It's going to be epic, and I'm going to be the one that's going in the middle of the field giving the football to one of the players.
An unbelievable honor for a teen who faced so many challenges early on.
He was in therapy for 6 days out of the week, PT, OT. It was hard. He was nonverbal until very late.
With the help of Special Olympics, Brandon soon found out he wasn't alone in his challenges.
He loved it. He really liked because he was accepted. He was included.
Finding trust and understanding with every game.
Remember this, anyone can be a good sport to anyone.
The NFL Play 60 is the league's national youth health and wellness program. The initiative encourages youth to be active for at least 60 minutes a day. We'll be right back.
Voting is happening right now for the 4 states' finest. The
at Southeast Kansas Humane Society. See you before the big game Sunday, February 11th.
The Super Bowl is quickly approaching, and Google has seen an increase in searches for Usher songs. With the singer set to headline the halftime show, Google Trends is revealing the most searched Usher songs by state. Of course, the #1 song that NFL and Usher fans alike want to hear is Yeah. The song debuted in 2004, but is clearly beloved across a span of generations. A close second is the song Good Good, which was mostly searched by the southeastern part of the country. And coming in third place is Lovers and Friends, with California, Nevada, and Hawaii searching the song the most. And treat yourself to an extra slice of one of America's favorite foods. Friday is National Pizza Day, which is observed every year on February 9th. It's a chance to appreciate the history of that cheesy, melty dish so many of us love. The nation's first pizzeria is believed to be Lombardi's in New York, established in 1905. Antica Pizzeria Portalba in Naples, Italy, is thought to be the world's first pizzeria, established in 1738. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, the most popular type of pizza is pepperoni.
There are plenty of amazing pizzerias around the area, so get out there and enjoy one. But I really could have gone for pizza yesterday. Every so often, I just crave pizza, and yesterday was one of those days. Today, though, mostly cloudy, breezy, about 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon and evening, a stray pop-up shower or storm will be possible. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, again, breezy. Winds gusting 30, maybe 35 miles an hour, and highs right around 70 degrees. And then we get a weak little system that comes through. We're mostly cloudy, breezy through the evening, but our temperatures colder than where they have been, but still above average as we go back into the upper 30s. We're cooler tomorrow, but again, still above average. Low 50s, mostly cloudy. Low 40s Sunday. We're back to normal Sunday, Monday. In fact, a little below normal. Showers Sunday evening could translate into some snow early Monday morning, mainly along and south of I-44, so do watch out for slick spots Monday. But it won't last long as we head into next week. Temperatures warm right back up into the mid-60s out there. And we'll see some additional shower chances and then another return to normal as we head toward next weekend. That is a check of your forecast. I hope you're having fun with us on this Friday because we have a whole nother hour of the KOAM morning news right after this.